Hi everyone. Happy New Year's Eve. I'm just getting on really quick. I'm got a head cold, sicky, low vibe energy feeling, and I just wanted to get on really quick and just say how freaking grateful I am to get to be a part of this community of people. Everyone who comments on this channel has just, I haven't shared this, but just fills my heart. My heart just overflows with just this joy and this love. Every time I read a comment, it's like, hey, you helped me, and thank you so much. I'm just feeling a little bit sappy today, too. Just a time of the year, and also feeling kind of like crap, a little crud. And yeah, I just am here to remind everyone that gratitude is probably the most potent way to create things. That when you're in that state of that flow of gratitude, and if you don't have anything around you to be grateful for, which is probably very unlikely, that the thing that you always carry with you is your heart, is love within you, is your breath that you get to breathe. If you're fortunate enough to have eyes to see, you get to see. If you have a body with skin to feel, you can feel. And those little tiny things, it goes so far, further than any manifestational tool that you might find. That love that turns into immense gratitude is the guidepost. It's the thing that keeps me always knowing where my arrow is lined up. My arrow is lined up with more love, more reasons to be grateful, more happiness, more joy, more moments of awareness, more epiphanies. Even if it sucks, like even when people are total jerks, even when acts of violence happen, like something happened to me just yesterday. Something violent happened to me, and it was by some stranger. And even in those moments, to be able to just to not hate that person and not send that person ill wishes, to not send a family member ill wishes, even though it's so easy because, we get into these patterns. It's really a mental slope where you just jump on this slide, and now all of a sudden you're sliding down this slide of the usual program of, I can't believe he or she would do this. I can't believe it that this person's such a jerk, and I'm still a human learning. I'm still amazed at some of the things that I think sometimes about someone and my family, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's still there. All right. It's just another time to love, to choose love instead. And so if you really are wanting to create something new, you're thinking about the next year and what's coming and what you're going to bring into the world. And just remember that it's always starting with you. And that while I don't adhere to the belief that I am God, because I have a human ego running my mouth sometimes, and like sometimes my human ego comes out, I always would like to remember that I am one with our Creator, that seed there that's been planted within me is growing versus me forcing things out onto the world. And that alone right there, what I learned had shifted everything in my life, from trying to make things happen to more of a state of allowance and just being here. Like I think I've told people, as I've been on manifestational journey, meditation, law of attraction, The Secret, when that came out, everyone remembers that, and been on this journey of trying to discover the magic of life and how I can harness it and what I can do to try to make it work in my favor. And it used to cause me a lot of anxiety. I used to listen to law of attraction folks, like Abraham Hicks and things like that. And I used to get terrible anxiety because I couldn't figure out how to make it work and why it wasn't working. And I think the number one thing was that I hadn't discovered love within myself. I didn't even love myself. So if I don't love myself, how am I going to be taking actions, thinking thoughts, speaking, doing things in alignment with love, if I can't love myself, if I'm not finding gratitude every day for just waking up and existing, even though maybe right now, your life at the end of 2023 isn't how you want it to be yet. And you're wondering, does this even work? I've been there. Like, does this even work? Hello, is this thing on? Like, are you listening? Is there anybody out there? And, that's another piece too, is that trust. What can you trust in? And oftentimes I hear people say, well, I can trust in myself. And it's like, well, who's yourself? What does that mean? Who is yourself? Do that question, that self-inquiry work to find out, well, wait a minute, who am I actually trusting in? Because these thoughts, these are ever-changing, constantly fluxing. That's not who you are. Thoughts are not who you are. Thoughts are a great way to throw you off. They're a great way to toss you in a pit of despair, when you're feeling low. So thoughts are not the greatest thing to trust. So if you are not your thoughts and you are not the world around you, then what is left? And to me, it's, well, my soul, which is a facet of God. It's like a crystal, and I am one facet. You're another facet. And that light hits through that crystal, and it hits and it creates this prism as it blasts through each one of us. And you can kind of imagine the light that we are comes through you, and it hits is it the pineal gland, or what is the little psychic crystal seed in our mind, and then it blasts out through our eyes, projects out onto this world. If it's pure, the channel's pure, it directly channels out onto our world exactly what the light would like to experience, which is love and gratitude. But if we've been programmed, which we all have been, to believe I'm not worthy, I can't have what I want, life doesn't work that way, you got to try hard, you got to work hard, then you're going to probably be trying things that don't feel good. And it feels out of alignment, it feels out of whack, because the real work that needs to be done. And what I've experienced is to go inward and really truly discover, what parts of myself have I been ashamed of? What parts of myself do I not like? What parts of myself have I not been loving and nurturing? When have I been abandoning myself? Gosh darn it, these people keep showing up in my life and abandoning me. Why do I keep experiencing that? Because there's a part of myself that's been abandoned, and I need to go inwards and love that part. And that takes time. That is not an overnight manifestation. That is, possibly I've heard of some people have an awakening overnight. They wake up the next morning and they know who they are. They know the self. They know exactly the truth. But for my situation, and for a lot of people's situation, it took time to keep evolving and keep growing and keep recognizing those times when you fell away from yourself, from when you abandoned yourself, when you didn't love yourself. And the life experiences are there to help reflect to you what's going on inside, not to help you shame yourself for having fucked it all up. Like I hear a lot of my clients say, I know I created that. And so, I take the blame for that. I created that, if it has to do with their person left or something like that. And while, yes, that might be true, but you really can only own half of that creation, because there was another person involved, and that person's creating too. I don't believe that my will is going to override someone else's will. I just think that that's dark magic, and that's darkness. Like, no will should ever override another person's will. If someone asks me to pray for them, then yeah, I'm going to pray for them. But my point is that we can't take full responsibility for other people and what they've done. We can't take responsibility for how we showed up, for what we did or didn't do. But the blame and shame loop that I see happening with clients, it keeps you trapped. And then it blocks that light that I was just talking about, that prism of light that comes through. It blocks it from being a pure channel, and then you don't get the intuitive wisdom of what to do next, the guidance to know what to do next. A lot of times the guidance doesn't make any sense. Getting prepared to like vacuuming out my car and selling my car because I know another one's on the way. But I'm like, wait, what? Wait, I need like the down payment first. I need to do all this stuff. I need to research the car. Like being led without knowing why you're being led to a certain place, that's trust. And that comes from practicing gratitude. That comes from practicing resting inside of yourself in love, embodying the truth, embodying what Neville Goddard calls the wish fulfilled, embodying that truly without projecting yourself out onto some future dream. Truly sit here and feel as if that person is totally in love with you, or that money is in your bank account already, and allow yourself to go there. I used to have a hard time imagining myself with a certain amount of money. And so I was like, I was really stuck because I figured, well, if I can't imagine it, then that means I can't create it, right? Because I was really stuck in that mindset of I have to be able to imagine it for it to happen. And it's like, well, no, actually, you don't need to be able to have an exact imagination so much as discover your wealth within you and feel that bubbling up inside of you. And there's this thing called your hara, and it's right here by your belly button. And that's your eternal life. That's your energy system bubbling up in through you. That's where we get energy. That's where our energy comes from. So oftentimes if you're feeling that pressing down, that heavy depression feeling, or that like sadness, or that, you know, inward down pressing, is you're actually pressing down on the energy of life. I forget where I was going with that. That was kind of a sidetrack, but I think my point was that being in a state of gratitude with the knowing that you already, oh, there it was, the state of being. Sorry, I'm still got a head cold. The state of being that you know that you are supposed to be in is the one that is trusting, is knowing that everything's going to work out, that you've asked for, you've prayed for a certain thing, and it's going to happen. How do I stay in that? How do I stay in that state of being? How do I not shift out of that? That's the test right there. That's the test. Like noticing that the thoughts are not equivalent with that. Wow, that thought is interesting. And don't chase down after that thought, trying to change it. Just let it go by. Let it go by. Excuse me, I'm going to have to get out here soon. So my point is how to take a dream but make it your reality right now is you go into yourself and feel your body, feel your bottom on the chair, feel your chest, and then know in your heart what it would feel like to already have all this love. And that takes some practice because you just have to kind of sit and be there and be silent with yourself. One tool that it did work actually was to imagine. I'm a mom of 4 kids, by the way. I don't really like to talk about my life too much because it's a big old world out there. So I keep myself kind of private. But my oldest son, he's almost about to be 16. And I said, well, I can't imagine, this was a few years ago, I can't imagine myself with this certain kind of life and a certain amount of money. And I said, well, I could imagine my son that having that, I want that for him. So I started imagining his life and like, his cute apartment for his first apartment when he becomes an adult, and like, maybe having his perfect little like living situation, and he has enough money. Like if he needs to see a doctor for something, he can see a doctor for something, like really just imagining this perfect life for him. And that he has everything he needs and he can get what he wants because he has abundance, he has plenty. And then I took that feeling of like, oh, that joy and that pleasure of him having everything that he wanted. And I just like gently let it slip into my heart, just gently let it bring myself into my own being of feeling like that was for me too. So try that out. Think of someone that you really love and admire and imagine them with their dream relationship, or imagine them with a bunch of money or the perfect health, perfect body, and imagine how good they would feel and how happy you'd feel for them. And then just allow yourself to continue feeling that way for yourself. And notice anything that comes up. Notice if there's any negative thoughts that come up. Again, don't try to chase them down and change them. Just notice that they're there and go, if that thought came up, that must mean that I have some kind of limiting belief about myself. And but that's okay. I'm just gonna put one hand here, and I'm just gonna say, it's okay. I love you anyway. This is really easy. You don't need to make a big deal out of it. Just let it be. Again, I'm just so grateful. So grateful for my first month and a half on YouTube. Grateful for the clients. I'm grateful for getting to share my experience and get to help a few people. I'm grateful that I have a voice to speak, and that it comes out in clarity, and it comes out in words that everyone can understand. And I'm grateful that I'm led, and that I get to trust, and that I learned how to trust. And I'm happy to see you all in the next year, in the new year, bringing in the vibe of 2024. I have a course that I'm going to launch. It's a 7-day dark love challenge. 7-day dark love challenge is about all the tools that I use, some of them at least. And you get 7 major tools that I use to get myself in the present moment, to get myself experiencing the bliss of right now, and how I use that to gently manifest what I desire. That's going to be launched here soon. Super excited about it. So stay tuned. I'll try to make a big deal about it on the community tab. And Emlo. Oh, hi, Emlo. I remember you. I didn't get a notification that you were live. Oh, darn. I wonder if that means you have to hit the bell icon in order for that to happen. I just kind of randomly decided to get on because I'm really sick. I don't feel well. And I'm sorry to the clients that I had to cancel on today, because my head is really pounding. But I just wanted to share this like overwhelming love and gratitude, and I feel just, kind of like sappy tears welling up in my eyes, and just just share that. So I love you all so much, and look forward to the next year and what it might bring. Apparently the number 8, 2024, adds up to 8. Apparently that brings abundance. We'll see. I already feel pretty abundant, so great. More is extra. Extra is plenty, and extra overflows. So yes, please. Love you all. See you.